Good morning. Chat, how you doing
Good.
today?
Good.
You
Good
alright?
morning. Good afternoon.
You alright?
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
okay?
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, welcome into the podcast of TGWPIS or the game won't play itself. That gentleman up there is James Atkinson. I am our team maker, and it's the coffee night.
Good morning.
So, how are we doing? We had a nice week. We had a busy week.
I've been hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about sounds fair, really. I did meet my nephew for the first time.
That's right.
A little blast furnace, so it's like, bloody hell, you're warm, but
Because
yeah,
he has the energy of 1,000 suns built up.
well, yeah, he was just building all that energy up, and when he came out, it's like,
And then he ripped a
Mhm.
massive fart.
not
That is how they
while I
do.
was holding him, but when Rob was holding him, because Rob was like holding him, was like, I think he's going, you think he's having a poo? It's like, no, it's just a fart you can feel. But yeah, he's an adorable little one. And so let's get on with this stuff because we've got stuff to do. We've got things. We can't be hanging around just talking complete nonsense all day. Well, we can, but
Says you.
yeah.
You've never been to the American podcast where me and Chris just talk about random shit for 2 hours.
I really should.
Gaming, what's that? We're talking about America shit.
Yeah, Dixie horns! I still have that on the soundboard.
So yeah, Steam, Valve, the Steam Deck, they have released more news about the production of the Steam Deck for people who have ordered them, and I bring you mega news of joy because they said recently they were going to ramp up production. They were able to ramp up production, and things were getting better. Well, yesterday they released another piece of news saying it's gotten even better. So anybody who at that point had ordered and reserved a place in a queue for a Steam Deck will get theirs offered to them this year. And if there's overflow, yeah, they'll have to move it till next year. But that's any overflow from yesterday, which is really good news because that also brings good potential news for Xbox Series X and S being in production, phones in production, PS5s. Because if Valve are having less issue with production, then so are other companies. Well, surely it's good news, right? Even things like graphics cards should be getting better, surely.
Well, I think also the United States passed a bill that said it like to ramp up semiconductor production as well.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so I bring that, and I also bring news that my bit as of yesterday that I saw was at 0.80%. I've almost hit the 1%. Which should happen next week.
They've almost ordered the plastic to get you your injection molded cover.
Yep. My other friend TC loves games. Hers is into the 70%, so she's had a big sort of uplift of it this past week. She's been showing me her progress as well, and it's so. I reckon hers is going to be finished by next week. I reckon because we jokingly went, could she get hers before Insomnia 69? And the August bank holiday. I was waiting for one of us to do that, but so it's looking very, very promising because they're manufacturing, I think, in in Europe rather than the Netherlands, I heard. So if that's the case, that's not going to be long till she gets hers. So awesome sauce. I believe you had the other news as well, then, James, didn't you?
Oh yeah. GTA has said that they're one of the protagonists is going to be female in the next game, and they've already released a voice actress who's going to be playing her, which is good. Good.
About time. Choice.
Well, I think it's going to be like an ensemble cast like they've been doing the last couple of years. So, great. I think, I mean, GTA 5 is what it is. Let's be frank about the game. It's slowly becoming the Skyrim of Rockstar. But
Yep.
you know what? Hey, sure, it's a social commentary game. It's hilarious. It's fun. They are pretty good, though. Though even now, in my gaming rig, when I start it up, it sounds like I'm gonna have a jet engine take off, and I have a relatively decent graphics card. So, but yeah, it's good for the series. It's good for that. And the thing is too is I'm not worried about them doing it justice because let's be honest, the writers for GTA are usually pretty spot on with their with everything. So
Yeah.
But-
I mean, 4 and 5 weren't as good as some of the earlier stuff. Let's call that like it is. As it's gotten bigger, as the graphics have gotten better, the sort of satirical stuff, the weird shit, seems to have sort of eased back, which is a shame. Because, we used to jump off multi-story car parks listening to Gold.
you can't stream the game anymore. Also because of all you can't. That's the number one feature I would like for the next game. I would like the ability to turn off copyrighted music.
Well, I think that might be a case because isn't that becoming sort of almost like a norm for games coming out now? If you stream it,
Yeah,
you can have
but
that.
at least put other music in, so you're not like Guardians of the Galaxy where you're waiting for the bass drop. Like, all right, awesome scene, and I'm just hearing explosions while flying this spacecraft, and there's no music.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, at least like come up with something else, something different. But you know what? It's fine. Or just like, let's be honest, Rockstar has a lot of fucking money. We all agree that Rockstar has a lot of money because of Grand Theft Auto has made them a lot of money.
Yes,
It
they've become very rich people.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the single most selling piece of media out there. Not game, media.
Yes.
More than Avatar. More
Yes.
than that. Just think about that for a second. So, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just strange, but maybe commission your own music. Probably do it. Heck, CD
Easily.
CD Projekt Red commissioned their own music for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, they did. You're right. Because even Keanu Reeves played it in one of the pieces of music, didn't he? Oh. See,
Keanu Reeves is now my favorite Batman.
wait, what?
In the new superhero pet movie,
Oh, yes, the one with the rock in it. Yes.
he voices Batman.
Oh,
Keanu
wow.
Reeves voices Batman. So now I can say Keanu Reeves is my favorite Batman.
Oh,
That's
wow,
true,
wow.
yeah.
I've never seen the movie, probably won't, but I just know Keanu Reeves is my favorite Batman.
Nice.
And who is it? I gotta read the news. I gotta find this news article. Wants to play old.
See, here's the thing, though, that and I think this may be down to more us using it like Elgato recording and streaming for our consoles. Because you remember when I played Mafia on stream?
Right.
When I played Mafia on stream, sorry, I'll just get rid of that rubbish thingy, that rubbish phone call. When I played Mafia on stream, I was able to hear the music, but you guys weren't because it was coming through the console. So I'm thinking that might be what the other bits are, like the Guardians of the Galaxy bit was. If you streamed it directly, you'd still be able to hear it, but they wouldn't. Which is an idea. If they can work that around you streaming it via that, like a capture card, if they can work that out.
Or
Brilliant.
or
Or
just make your own music for the games.
Yeah, we're just making sure movies for the end. So, all right. So I found the news articles. They were talking. They were doing the ad stuff, and they're obviously The Rock and everybody have been going around talking about this movie. And Keanu Reeves has come out and said that he would love to play an older Bruce Wayne, an older Batman, in a live action movie. So my brain immediately goes to two places:
The Dark Knight Returns.
The Dark Knight Returns, which is obviously the Frank Miller crazy Steve version of Batman.
Yeah.
Or riddle me this one, Batman. Yes, what about Batman Beyond live action?
Ooh.
Okay.
So
You have me intrigued.
all right, so let me tell you why this would work. Because you have old crotchety Keanu Reeves playing old crotchety Bruce Wayne, which I think would be pretty awesome. For other casting decisions, Terry, obviously the guy who takes over for Batman, is really, you can kind of go anywhere with it, and I don't like using these terms, but like, you know, if they're trying to be more open and like with their casting decision, they can really cast whoever they want. Any male, female, any male lead or non-binary lead, because once again, it's in the future, it's more futuristic. It was always kind of like weird, and they had like kind of pushed the envelope of sexuality and everything. It allows that to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I gotta interrupt this train of thought for 1 second,
Right.
to talk about a very specific instance, because I had watched Batman Beyond for a little bit.
So I also think Terry
not
McGinnis was
too
also
long
maybe
ago.
a little, and it seemed to me like he was mixed race to me, maybe not as mixed race, like what's his face is Invincible main lead.
Yeah. But I gotta say, in the actual TV show, in the Netflix subtitles,
Yeah.
they have a terrible, terrible typo,
Oh
and
no.
it's fucking hilarious.
Oh,
I mean, it's
no.
not like awful. It's music. They misspelt music, but they spelt it Muzak, Musak, and it's like the opening with a club where it's just like everyone's dancing and it's just like flashy lights and house music and just like all of that. And it just says
House
Muzak.
Muzak.
Yes, house Muzak. And I can never get over that. That lives in my head rent free.
But yeah, I would say Batman Beyond would be a great movie to make, and you can kind of go anywhere with it because they have light, upbeated stuff, but then they had like that whole Joker, like
Yeah,
comes
the Joker
back.
gangs.
The Joker gangs, but then they had that whole one where Joker came back, or like he implanted his psyche and genetic information to like Jason Todd, and like Jason Todd came back as the Joker because it kind of all came out. It's just like cool and weird and interesting shit. But yeah, Keanu Reeves as old Batman would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It would be pretty fun.
Corn's asking is, and this is that there is an area here. He's saying what he finds odd in the whole thing is that if I buy a CD, I can play it to an audience, not get into trouble. Do the same with a game and and Blam, DMCA.
Yep.
It works differently that way. It still should be the same. In case the DMCA should not be.
The difference is that when you buy a CD, you're buying a physical copy of the CD. When you buy a game, you're buying the physical copy of the game, but you're only you're licensing to be able to you're being licensed to be able to play that game. You're not owning any of the copyrights of that game, and the game has licensed the music to be in that game. So it's not because you licensed to play that game and then licensing to the music, it doesn't pass through that legally. So that's why.
Also, and this links like to the wrestling business. ECW, yeah, Paul Heyman's sort of rebel sort of federation that he used to have, right? For their wrestlers, when they used to come out, they used to play things like Metallica, other rock, songs and that, well-known sort of shit. Now he used to get away with it because he used to say it was a live show. not not a TV, not built where he was making money off of that part, blah blah blah. And it's why when WWE bought the library, they had to change the music, and when there was like a distribution rights over here that changed for DVD and video distribution, they had to change the music to some generic bollocks, which was just awful because they didn't have the license to use the music. But Paul Heyman, being Paul Heyman, didn't give a fuck. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of that area as well. It's a very sort of grey area of how you would get around not being copyright struck, because if you don't have the license, you're gonna get caught. Sadly. Is that the news? Are we done with the news?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah. I got
Shall we get on to what we've been playing then?
Sure.
What have you been playing, Chris? What have you been doing?
Oh, goodness. I have been playing some Valorant. And I've just been enjoying the time. It's been fun. Occasionally doing some jokey things with voice changers and fucking around.
Nice.
Did a little bit of what's it called? It's another shooter. It's a Battle Royale. Apex Legends. It's really casual feeling. Like, I know people get super intense into it, but like it feels casual in comparison.
Right.
I actually booted up CS:GO to do a comparison of how it feels versus Valorant, and hilariously, yes, all of the skills translate directly over. It was very funny, except that the matchmaking system is terrible.
Yeah. Same dev team?
No. CS:GO is Valve, and Valorant is Riot.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. Because I was going to say, if it was the same dev team, then yeah, you'd have that same feeling. But yeah, well,
No. Wildly different dev teams.
fair enough.
They definitely Valorant definitely captured the essence of like the core loop of CS:GO, but without like dealing with the same pitfalls. Different pitfalls though. And then I've been playing Terraria and working towards this video thing about Terraria. Oh, yeah.
Cool. Because I was talking to someone earlier, Spoodadoodle. I'll name them because they're really clever mugger. They're looking at doing things like more sort of virtual reality stuff for their streams. And I said to them, it's like, you and them would probably get on like a house on fire with the ideas and that you have. Because some of the stuff he's wanting to do with VR for his streams is just, yeah, that sounds really cool. And some of the stuff you've done with your blacksmithing, with your the D&D and all this, it's like, yeah, I honestly think you two should get together and potentially do a project, because that sounds like amazing shit would happen.
If I ever get the space to set up a VR setup, there are like VR LARPs that I would absolutely like go and grab Spooter to go and do.
Yeah. Nice. So is that all you've been playing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Well, I have been playing mainly stream stuff. We'll talk about those first. I completed Castlevania Symphony of the Night, so the Castlevania series for now on streams is done and dusted. I need to give a big shout out to Sephiroth, who was the person that came in. There was a speedrunner who does them on the YouTube channel. They came and gave me some hints. They gave me some tips. They went, if you go back to here, you can get this weapon. You can combo it up with this shield. And then look what happens. It's like, oh. So I went from not really struggling, but it was a challenge to get through places, to holy fuck, I've just ran through that quite nicely. Including the Dracula fight at the end. It was... I spent probably 15 seconds on the boss fight. That was it. because of this combo, and it was just I have to applaud the person for letting me see this. It was helped me get to that, because that just made that game just a lot more fun than what it was. I mean, I wasn't hating it by any stretch of the imagination, apart from the producer heads who can go fuck themselves. But otherwise, very enjoyable. I also went on to Chrono Trigger, and I completed Chrono Trigger. Max health for my party. Again, shout out to James for his advice, because you put me onto some weaponry that was, again, made fights easier, made fights better. But Lavos is a dick.
Mm-hmm. Final boss for a reason.
Lavos's final phase can go fuck itself as well. And when it's gone to fuck off Shire, it can go further and stay there. But yeah, I got the ending. I got the bad ending of you had, in the end, the future doesn't change. So, okay, fair enough. I got an ending. So that's that done. Played more The Ascent. Some very good side missions and main stuff. I love the characters. I love the world. The world looks amazing. It's a futuristic cyberpunk thing. It's a more grittier version than Cyberpunk 2077, but very enjoyable. But there is still some bugs in it about a year later when I saw, because I've been watching Carnage play it. Because again, from James, we were discussing this, and you think I'm much closer to the end than what I did. And so far from watching Carnage play it, you're right. You're absolutely right. I was at least a third of the way through before the stream today of it. So I will be continuing that this week before I go on my break, because I'm going to have some time off so I don't get burnout, because I think I need it, Also been playing Klonoa 1, because I know Korn has been playing Klonoa and is further ahead than us. I am now up to Vision 4.2. I got to the boss. Now the boss itself is easy enough. You're supposed to just grab an enemy, chuck it at one of its coloured sectors, beat the boss that way. Done, dusted. I'm having trouble just grabbing the enemies at the moment. I don't know why. I don't know. It should be easier than what it is. I think my spatial awareness, or I think that's what's caused me issue at the moment. So I'll need to go back and try my damnedest to complete that and go for that boss, because I know, as Korn, last time we spoke was on Vision 6 and he was having trouble there. So it's not just me being shit at Klonoa, which is essentially our kids' game. Played some more pinball, and then finally Formula 1 2021, More Crashes Are Us, which has a story in itself. I was driving round France. I remembered JT had a cool time because I nick his setups. I am very honest in the fact that JT does good setups for his cars in Formula 1 games. End of. So I use them. And as I was going through the main qualifier bit, I went, wouldn't it be funny if I matched the time that he set in his practice? I finished my 15 minutes. We look at the time. Yep, exactly the same. It's just unbelievable. So I'm waiting to see whether he kicks the shit out of me on his time and goes faster, which I'm guessing will happen. And then some more Natalie Saunders at Monaco, where I survived Monaco. I didn't push to try and get further up the field. If people DNF'd, they DNF'd, and I got a place. Done, dusted. Fuck off, Monaco. So what have you been playing then, James?
Genshin. And I played a little bit of Terraria because I need to play something that isn't Genshin.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Like, where Will is like talking about, yes, he wants to take a break because of burnout, not wanting to burn out. I kind of did. a little bit. Nah, not like the traditional, like, I am a YouTuber and I'm burning out and I'm going away. It's just like, we had that week of June, that month of June, the YouTube, we went really hard on all the videos, and I was like, yeah. Also, then we had a heat wave, and when your room is getting like up to 38 degrees to like play video games in, you don't want to be in your room playing video games. It's like, I play video games to relax, not to sweat. And when you do stuff on camera, it's like, you have to wear a shirt. Otherwise, that's for a different site altogether. That content. Yeah. So yeah, so I've kind of, besides doing the podcast, which obviously for me is not hard content to do. I know, right? It's almost like we've made this pretty easy over the years. But yeah, I have a return date. It's for Formula One Manager, because obviously I have to do that. And then I shouldn't say I'm not streaming either, because I also participate in crashes. Which is C'est parlez-vous français.
Lovely, yay.
Yay, this week. I like Paul Ricard because it's not a hard track.
It's just dull. There's no character to it.
Well, I have figured out for me, what my favorite kind of tracks are, which is I can drive this track and not have to, I can drive on the track, but if I go off, there isn't a barrier immediately there. Like, there is room on tracks to like do stuff and have avoiding action. It's also probably because I'm not the best driver and I tend to be a little bit too aggressive, as will rightly tell you. I tend to be a little more aggressive than I should be.
Yes.
But
that's okay. You're testing the boundaries, and if you're pushing that limit and going over, that means you're pushing that limit. You're just pushing it just slightly too far.
Yeah. Good at managing tires, though. Manage those tires. But yeah, that's why I like that. And also, like, Paul Ricard is, if you're a streamer and you want to react with chat, you got that back straight where you can just talk to people while you're just, porpoising down the back straight.
Yeah, I need to work on that one. That plat for straight corn.
Yeah, I can tell you guys, like, so what's what I've been playing. I'm starting to get the itch to do something again, which is usually what happens. Like, I take some time off and I'm like, I kind of want to record something, and I'm just gonna hold off because, like I said, Formula One Manager is coming at the end of the month. And we all know I have to play the shit out of that because it is a Formula One game and a management game.
The Wombo combo.
It's the Wombo combo. Though it's pretty funny if you look at something like my wish list and like some of the games I have on it. There's F1 Manager, right? Typical. There is let's keep scrolling down. Where are the other management games? Tennis Manager 2021. Yep. Because I know a lot about tennis. And then I believe I have Cycling Manager 2022 on here as well.
It's like, you haven't bought like the Tour de France games yet and tried them.
No, why would I? I mean, that's what Cycling Manager is. It's the Tour de France. Like, what am I going to tell this guy to do? All right, pump harder.
Pedal faster.
Pedal faster. Pedal faster. Like, how do I make this into a joke? I'm not going to go out and buy a Vespa and sit on it for stream and just yell.
But you can green screen that.
Probably, yeah, I can green screen that. True.
Yeah,
Which actually, OBS has actually integrated into it now. The shadow play, not the shadow play, but like the NVIDIA camera technology that lets you. No, Elgato has done this. Elgato has done it for their software, where like the NVIDIA like green screen and background stuff that you don't need a green screen for has actually built it into their stuff now. So like they're adapting the NVIDIA camera technology into like to be able to work with their system. So I could technically do it. I'm just lazy. Yeah. Just don't drive over the other cyclists. Well, that's the whole point. What if you mean I can't like drive over the Vespa and stick a stick in their wheels? And if you're wondering, for F1 Manager, I have thought about getting a clown wig and nose for various situations where I make bad calls.
And the Ferrari top, you know.
And then obviously a black turtleneck has been ordered as well. There will be lots about that. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. But so not a lot of gaming, but prelude to gaming. What the hell is this game? All right, these like power washing simulator games have gone a little bit far now.
Why? What they don't? What's next?
World War II Rebuilder Germany Prologue.
That's hilarious.
Like you're rebuilding a bombed out city in the aftermath of World War II.
Yeah,
Okay, I was wondering where that was
that's
going.
hilarious. No. Like off the name alone, it was literally just like, oh yeah, you just fix the. It's literally Viscera cleanup detail, but for like debris.
No, it's also
World
like
War II.
like the house turnover game.
Oh, the house flipper.
Yeah, house flipper.
Yeah, house flipper. It's like that, but for like a square and like buildings in a bombed out town in Germany from World War II. Which immediately I go, oh, okay, right. But then there's two ways. It's the Germany prologue. So obviously there's going to be more than just Germany. So obviously there's London after the Blitz, which would be something to talk about. You know, so yeah, obviously you have a lot of content here. But then this is the screwed up version of my mind here. Goes and they're going to get the Building the Berlin Wall DLC.
Oh no. No.
I mean, am I wrong? Like, if you're rebuilding Germany in WW2 Rebuilder, part of that has to be the Berlin Wall. It's history.
History, yeah, you're not wrong.
Like it's
You're not right, but you're not wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not something we you know we should be looked at and went, hey, let's put this in the game. It's like, but you're not wrong. It happened.
Yeah, it did happen, and you know, but
Yeah.
then it allows you to have the even further down the thing, the tearing down of the Berlin Wall DLC.
Yeah, I was going to say that you could have
True.
the DLC skin of David Hasselhoff.
Exactly. So that's my thought. Like, I built that joke up and then I tore it down again.
Just like the wall.
Just like, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
Oh, I think I'll have 10,000 gamers do it for me.
And you do know that like every single gamer would be playing the shit out of that.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, like,
100%.
I want to see the people who like do these games and make memes out of them try to meme the Berlin Wall DLC. Just do it. I dare you. I really dare you.
To be fair to yourself on this one, Activision, when they did, was it Black Ops 1 or 2?
Mm-hmm.
For their special DLC of the presidents fighting the zombies. One of them was Richard Nixon. Not the greatest president you could have thought of, to be fair.
Not the worst either, though.
Not the worst either, but not the best.
Yeah, but the worst one around when they released like Black Ops.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at least he didn't incite riots.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, allegedly, we have to use the term allegedly here. Though we all fucking saw it.
Legally speaking.
Legally
we have
speaking,
yeah.
to not get sued by him, allegedly.
Although I wonder if that would be good for our publicity.
Couldn't be any worse. But yeah, it's worse. Why didn't they give us the Tory Prime Minister? Why didn't they give us the Prime Minister version of like Black Ops? I would love to see Margaret Thatcher going out there with an M16 killing down zombies.
Are we looking what? John Major, Thatcher?
Churchill.
Yeah, I mean Churchill. Fine, Yes, he was conservative. That's the thing that freaks people out the most. Like, what? He was conservative.
Didn't he also serve?
Yes.
I
If I
thought
recall.
if
He must have in World War One.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of Thatcher, Churchill, and Tony Blair, fucking just mowing down zombies. But the problem is like not even like doing like their normal like voices that we've heard over the time. Just when Tony Blair's like, "Oh right, chip cheerio, they're all chaps."
Yeah,
Just the worst possible impressions of themselves.
Exactly.
Earlier this year, they put up a statue of Margaret Thatcher in her hometown. Do you know how quickly it was vandalized?
Like that night. that night.
Before the reveal.
Selling eggs near it, so you could buy them and chuck them at it.
Now that's an enterprise.
Stonks.
I mean, who in their honest right mind looked at that and thought that's a great idea?
The guy selling eggs.
Yeah.
No. Oh, you scamp.
I'm just trying to think. It's like the same thing with it. What's the name of the statue in Glasgow that like always has a cone on its head, like a traffic cone?
I'm not sure.
But
I'll have to ask Cammy.
I don't know. I can't see his face.
But exactly. But you know of the statue. Like there's one in Glasgow. It's of like an English conqueror. I don't even think like that. But like he always has a cone on his head. And like it's to the point now where like they don't even like the authorities don't even try and take it off because they just know somebody else is gonna put it on there. But then like they'll decorate it for like Christmas and like make it look like holiday and they'll put holiday lights and stuff on it. It's like, so they're just like taking the piss and it's just like, well, of course it's it's a statue of an Englishman in Scotland. What do you expect? I mean,
Do you have any other thoughts of what was gonna happen?
Exactly. I mean, it's also like the, Confederate generals in the United States. Just
right.
What would you expect?
And then you have people come and go, "Oh, you should keep them up their history." It's like it's bad history.
No. I have a different take. We should keep them up, but instead we should have a bunch of the other generals pointing and laughing at them in other statues surrounding them.
How many I want to see like compared to like how many like there's I have to think they probably have the most statues for the losing side of a war erected ever.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, you're right. I think you should keep them up as well because and again, this leads to something we talked about a year ago when WWE went on Peacock. Some of the stuff they removed that was it was bad, but you leave it there so people can learn from that. Maybe.
Yeah.
The old WB cartoons, they have Whoopi Goldberg come on and say, these cartoons nowadays are considered to be taboo or racially insensitive. You have to realize that they were products of their time and reflect what American society was going through. They should be viewed as such and be taken as learning pieces. There you go. I mean, trust me, I don't care that there are statues of Confederate generals in the South. I think it's more that the connotations they wrote. Like, I see that, I'm like, that's history. It happened. I get it. But you like, when you look at that statue and I go, that's history, I understand what happens. I understand what happened. And though that brings me uneasy feelings, it is still what happened. At the same time, I'm not thinking of looking at that statue going, man, those were the good old days. That's the thought process that, you need to kind of work on. Context. Talking about World War II series. I have a question. I mean, we're going to talk about, people who had similar ideologies to the gentlemen of the South who tried to rise up. How many statues of Nazis are there in Germany?
To be honest, I don't know.
I don't think there's any.
I could not tell you.
I mean, at the same time, they've kept Auschwitz open and they've kept those places open, but that's because they're historical sites and they use them as training and teaching moments to say, this is why this was bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think Auschwitz was in Poland anyways, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like they you just use it for eternity. Possibly, yeah, probably only in the museums. Exactly. But at the same time, the people who look at those statues and would go, those were the good old days, aren't exactly people who are going into museums.
I mean, one of the things my granddad put in his war diary was walking through one of those bits once the liberation happened, and he must have felt really on edge and creeped out and just through walking through one of those sort of gas chamber bits. I mean, even now, if you go through Auschwitz and you look at it and it must send a chill. It must really throw you off just even now. So walking through one of them then must have been horrendous.
Yeah, it's yeah. There are certain feelings that doing and looking at these things should evoke.
Yeah.
And if you look at that place and you feel pride, probably not the best feeling you should have. You should, like there's a lot of things.
Minor caveat to pride for the people who have survived and managed to go and live successful lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can accept that, yes.
Speaking of which, I mean that. Well, I'm going to be watching a Tottenham game. Tottenham are playing in Israel right now. There is a lot of controversy about the fact that Tottenham are playing in Israel right now. Because of the whole Israel-Palestine situation. But at the same time, do you know what the nickname is for somebody who's a fan of Tottenham? Will might know.
If I do, it's in my head is going
Yid. Which is it's a slang for somebody who's Jewish. But that's because Tottenham and the area around it where it grew up was predominantly a what kind of area? A Jewish community.
Yeah.
like and there's stories that have come out that like during at the beginning of England went to go play Germany before World War II in Berlin. And when they went there was a young man who approached the English national team who was Jewish and said, I don't, things are going bad here. Can you help get me out? Can you help get me out? And the Tottenham fullback at the time helped get him free. They got him out of Germany. Right when everything was starting to happen. So
I'm just checking something on Google before I said it, so I didn't want to, say something horrible. So far, don't think it is.
Yeah, and I do know the term Yid is like once again, it's a little bit of a slang. It's a little derogatory for saying it, but like the Tottenham fan base took the term and they use it as a badge of honor and a badge of pride to describe themselves. Because they're like, and they say like we don't. Once again, it's in context is everything because everything is contextual here. They aren't calling people who are Jewish that. They're calling themselves that, and it's also their pride in the fact that Tottenham was a club that was supported by a Jewish fan base, which was a huge deal, But more important people than me, who are better scholars than I, have done.
Yeah.
Have done better pieces on
I'm in the bits derived from the use of its eudonym among Yiddish-speaking Jews.
Mm-hmm.
I can use the word Yiddish-speaking Jews.
That is a term for this language, Yiddish.
Yeah. See, I was looking at going, I don't want to say that just in case it's a slur, because But yeah, so in the United Kingdom, Yid is also used to refer to the supporters of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. His fans refer to themselves and players as Yids, or the derivative form Yiddo, regardless of whether or not they are Jewish, as part of a reclamation attempt centered around the club's significant historic Jewish following. So there we go.
Yep. And they have songs about that too.
Yeah.
Like it's like I said, and the club has come out and said we don't like the fact that you use that term, and the supporters like we understand, but we don't use that in a derogatory sense. We don't go up to members of the Jewish community and call them that. It's like we call ourselves that, and it is to honor the fact that historically we were a Jewish fan base. Smaller now, but still. But you see that, but once again, historically in football and sport, you see that all the time. And as long as the community and I don't think the Jewish community has something wrong with that. And like I said, I bet you if the Jewish community came out and said, listen, we find this disrespectful, could you stop doing this? They probably would, because they would be disrespectful. It's just like with in America, certain sports organizations have been asked to not call themselves by the racially insensitive names.
Washington changed theirs.
Washington Football Club.
Yeah. Which, again, not up to me to go, well, I don't think that wasn't too bad, because it's not direct. It wasn't directed at me. It was directed to the.
Well, but then there's the teams like the Atlanta Braves, and I believe that they are not changing their name from the Braves because the historical nation of the Braves have said no, that's fine. It's technically Brave was a warrior of their tribe.
Yeah, it's not. Insensitive slur towards.
They've stopped doing the tomahawk. I mean that I get. Okay, that's but still. But there you go. History lessons today in TGWPIS. When we don't have content, we instead talk about other weird crap.
Let's move on now to some shout outs and pimp outs and all that stuff. Well, first of all, that's just literally happened. George Russell has got pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Massive. And a massive lap too. And he wasn't being like towed or anything. He did it all on his own. Don't fucking sandbag in Mercedes. You look at them P1, P2, P3, they looked all out of sorts. They didn't look like he couldn't. George, I don't think George, until he put that lap together, ever made T1 very well.
Yeah. It's like, wow. Also, big shout out tomorrow for JW.Executable. He is doing Sonic X the final one. Where he's playing, I believe is it 10 Sonic games at the same time? So every 10 seconds, the game flips to get another Sonic. And he's doing this until all the games are completed. He's doing it for the National Autistic Society. So if you can, give him a view, support him. If you can donate, again, please do. Because J-Dub's a good bloke. Cannot speak highly enough of Jay for what he does for charities. So if you can do, please join in from midday, because where I'll be sending the raid tomorrow from Sunday service. Have you guys got anything?
Come on, you Spurs. Also, I can give you guys reasons to hate KSI and the Paul brothers.
Sure.
Their drink company has signed a sponsorship deal with Arsenal.
I mean, the only solace is I could see. I'm going to see one of the Paul brothers get punched in the mouth tonight.
Good. That's why he's in London.
That.
Yeah.
That is the pay-per-view.
Yeah, SummerSlam's on tonight. Now, recently, you would have heard that I got rid of WWE Network because of Vince McMahon and his misconduct. I resubscribed to it today because Triple H is now in control, and I'm giving him the chance to make it better. That only lasted about 2 weeks, but You know, if I had even a small tiny hand in removing Vince and getting rid of his old antiquated days and letting him go right off into sort of dark and diminished sunset, then if it makes WWE better again, I'll take pride in that. That's it. We're done. We're
That's
all
it.
done.
Show's over. Go home.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yep.
So have a good one, everybody. We'll see you all later. I have to get the music queued up, and yeah, have a great one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.